Hi everyone, it's Dolly. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. So today I wanted to get on really quick and share a book haul with you guys. So this book haul is nothing exciting, but I wanted to share it with you just the same, especially for those who love to do junk journaling. So if you're not into junk journaling, this might not be the video for you. You may want to skip past this, but I did go to my local thrift store, a couple of them recently, and I found some books, and I thought this would be a great video to do just to show you guys you don't always have to be on the lookout for vintage books. I mean, of course, that's always what we're going to look out for. But, you know, with all of the stores that I've been going to, I find vintage pieces less and less. And I feel like you almost have to go to an estate sale of some kind to really find some really good vintage pieces, at least in my area. So, you know, I had found a thrift store where I was finding a lot of vintage pieces about a year ago, and I noticed they are getting scarce. These vintage pieces are harder and harder to find. And actually, I think these thrift stores are actually getting wise to them, because the last time I went into the thrift store that I usually go to, they had a separate glass cabinet and they held some of the vintage books in there, which were more than doubled in price, and I couldn't believe it. So I know that they're on to us, you guys. They know that we are looking for those vintage pieces. So in this video, I wanted to let you know that you can create with various types of book pages. It doesn't just have to be the old pages. If you're doing a vintage book or a vintage theme book, yes, naturally you probably want that, but there's so many fun ways to use various books and to be able to repurpose the book. So I went to the thrift store. I found some books that I wanted to share with you guys. So you guys, let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully I'll be able to give you some ideas on what you can use as pages for your journals. So first of all, I did find a book that I love the cover to, and it's a fairly large book. Now, recently, I have been looking for the smaller books. This is a little larger, but the reason why I chose this book, first of all, was because it was only $1, and because I want to use the cover of this to create a journal. And if you take this book apart, it's a really pretty color. It's in red and beige, but that wasn't why it caught my eye. First of all, it's called Roses, and I love the title of this because you can easily do a shabby chic vintage or shabby chic journal with this. The reason why I got this and what caught my eye was the inside. Look at this, and as you can see, it's already torn apart because I already took it apart. I was trying to see if I could keep this in place, which I managed to do. So it's already covered in this beautiful rose design, and I was able to take these 2 pages and save them. So I was really happy about that. And I figured the rest of this, they're good pages that I could tea dye or coffee dye, probably coffee dye, and reuse to create little mini envelopes or whatever it is that I need. There's plenty of pages. Don't throw your unused pages of the book away, because again, you can repurpose these pages by dyeing them. So yeah, that is the reason why I got this book. And you know, for $1, I thought it was worth it. And it's a really chunky book, so you can imagine how much I can fit into this journal. I think that was one of the reason why I got this, is because it's almost 2 inches. So I love that. All right, so you guys, the other thing that I found, look out for cute little poetry books, you guys, and look out for books that have kind of unique pages that you could stick in between your pages. This is kind of a poetry book. It says A Book of Roses, and it's called By Any Other Name. So if you look in this, there are various kind of, I would say, poetry and pictures of beautiful flowers, roses. So I thought this would be really cute to take pages from and insert into a journal, maybe that's in a garden theme or a floral theme. I thought it would be perfect. And this was, I know this was, oh, yep, it was only $1. So you really can't lose by buying something like this. And the other thing that I was thinking about this book, it's small enough, and you guys, it's got a fabric cover. And isn't this so beautiful? It says by any other name, and I figure I can turn this into a mini journal. I can use the inside and also use the cover. So I love finding books that have unique covers and also a really nice theme or pretty illustrations. So you guys, this used to be $15. For $1, yeah, I wasn't going to pass that up. So that's one other way that you can use these pages in a journal. Here's another small book, and again, I would use this the same way that I would use that one. This book is called The Little Book of Love, and it's a really cute little book, but it's also got all kinds of writings, poetry, and just little, sayings in here that you can cut and use as slip-ins to your pockets in your journals, or you can stick in envelopes. They're just really cute sayings and some poetry as well. So I love that, and I love that they're very thick pages, so these will last, and you can just pull them out as you need them when you're creating your junk journal. And so again, this was, I think, $1 as well. This right here, my daughter found for me. By no means is this vintage. Although the pictures are vintage, this book is a new book. It's not a vintage book, because you can tell they took these vintage photos and they've added really funny comments to them. Like this one right here, it says, "Gosh, he went well with her drapes." I mean, they're kind of funny. I wish they weren't in there, because then you can't be too serious about what you're making, but at the same time, they are pretty funny. So it was only $1, and I thought, I love the pictures because the pictures are vintage, and I thought these would be cute to stick in a journal. So yeah, this was, again, $1. Couldn't pass that up. And then I also found, this one is not really vintage, but it is pretty old. Again, I love to look for fairy tales that are kind of older books, and you can cut a lot of the pages out on this. I love that this is starting to brown at the edges, so you can tell this is a little bit of an older book. You could always further coffee dye this book to make it look older if you really wanted to, but I don't think I really have to dye this. And there are some illustrations in this book. I know I've found older fairy tale books in the past, but I love that these are larger pages so that I can rip and fold them in half to stick them in my smaller journals. I know that a lot of times we get these books that have huge pages, and before I hesitated to even purchase those books because they were so large, but then I realized they were a great buy, because I can buy and use one page and just fold it in half and it would work. I mean, when we're making these junk journals, that's exactly what they are. They're junk journals. So by no means do these pages have to be in the direct or correct direction. They can be in any direction you want them to be. It's your junk journal, you guys. So yeah, that's this one was also only $1, and it's the classic fairy tales. All right, so I also found this one, which is kind of old. It's not vintage. It's called Favorite Poems for Children, and I love the cover of this book. It's really pretty. It's partially in a fabric, and what I love about this is the poems are just so cute, and again, they're children's poems, so it's easy enough to just tear one of these pages out and insert it to add it to a junk journal. I think that would be so much fun. And there are some illustrations on here with little kids on the side, little garden, so these are really fun to work with. And I love the fact that the pages are already kind of partially tinted in that beige. You can tell when a book is kind of old, it gets that tint, and I love that tint. And for me, the darker it is, the better. So this one, I believe, yep, It's also $1. You guys, I found this place that my kids used to go to near my area where they sell a ton of books. And although they don't have too many vintage books, they do have a lot of books that are only $1 that you can still use in your journals. So I thought that was kind of nice. All right, so then I found this, and of course you can tell this is a recent print of an older book. This is not an old print because you can tell it's not the old-fashioned cover. It's actually the newer cover in the golden books, and this is Everything I Need to Know I Learned from a Little Golden Book. I didn't get this for the cover, but I figure the inside of this can be used. I love the vintage drawings from the older golden books, so I can tear from here and use these as well. This one was $3. You guys, I got this and I decided I would be okay paying $3 for it because there are so many pages of this and I just love all of these pictures. So yeah, that was $3. The other thing that I found was this book right here, and this is a book that is called Astrid Lindgren. I'm not sure if that is who wrote it or if that's the title, and let me tell you why. This book is in German, and you guys, that is why I got this, because not only are there sweet illustrations in this book, it's in German, and I thought that was kind of cool that it was in German. So I know the pages of these are really white, and it would be fun to see if I could dye these pages to turn them into a vintage color. I just think it's so neat. I had found that one book that was in Japanese writing, so I think it's kind of cool to have one that's in German. So I thought that was cute. Yeah, I love the fact that this does have some illustrations as well. And this was only $1 also. Okay, so then I found this book, you guys, and I'm not going to be tearing this apart. This is called Love You Forever. I have owned this in a paperback, and I love this book. This was the first children's book that ever made me cry. And when my kids were little, and this book came out, I read this to them all the time. I thought it was the sweetest book. And I promised that I would keep that book forever. I still have it, but the problem was I had it in the paperback. I did not have it in a hardback, so I found this, and yes, it's written on already, but I can always cover that, and I figure I'm going to keep this forever, and I'm going to read this to my grandkids if I ever have any. And I don't know, a lot of you have probably already read this, but there's just something so sweet about it, and it just shows the love of family, and I absolutely love this book. So I had to have this, not to take apart, but just to own. All right, so then the next two books I bought were the Reader's Digest books. So let me show you the covers on here. As you know, these Reader's Digest books have a much nicer cover. They're in the vinyl covers, and the reason why I got these books is, first of all, I love the colors. It's in a red, it's in a green. I figure I can make Christmas journals with these or not. The other reason why I love the Reader's Digest is because they are not too huge. They are a good size so that you can use your inserts and just fold your inserts in half, and they fit perfectly. The other reason why is because look at how thick these are, you guys. They are perfect for journals. I love them. So these were only $1 each, and they are in really good condition, and I loved the titles on these as well. So I'm really looking forward to making junk journals out of these. So I've also found another book, and you guys, it's very similar to the size of these Reader's Digest, but even better. So I found this one. Let me see. It's about the same size. Okay, so it's about the same size, but here's the best part about it. Look at how much thicker it is than the Reader's Digest. I can get so much into this, and I can actually have a super chunky journal using this one. So I'm really excited about this. The title is Glass, and it's okay. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be a specific title, but I love how it is in this really pretty purple, shiny purple, and the black cover. I can do so much with this. I love the colors, and glass is okay. I don't care. I love that it is the size that it is. It's really nice, you guys. So I can't wait to make a journal out of this as well. Okay, and then these are the ones that I found that I'm really excited about. I found these at I want to say it was either at an AMVET. It could have been at an AMVET, yes. So these are these books on teapots or teacups or tea. This one is the New York Book of Tea, and this one is afternoon tea. And this was $1.50 and this was 96 cents. I don't know how they got to 96 cents, but look at how cute. And these pages are really hard. So how cute would it be to take these pages and insert them into a tea-themed journal? That's all I could think. It was just so cute. I had to get it, and there's quite a few pages. So each of these feel like cardstock. They're really, really sturdy. So I can always just pull a page when I need it. This one right here, this New York Book of Tea, where to take tea and buy tea. Love that as well. Look at the pages in this. I can also tear from this and use this in a junk journal. There are some illustrations in here. Love that. They look like drawings, but yeah, I thought that was a great deal. So I got 2 of those in this tea theme. The other book I found was this one right here, and I love this one. It's called Among the Mermaids, Facts, Myths, and Enchantments from the Sirens of the Sea. And look, there are some illustrations in here, and I thought this one would be so cute if I ever decided to do a mermaid junk journal. I already have one that a really dear friend of mine made for me, so I'm not in any hurry to make one right now, but I figure if I do make one for a friend in the future, I have these pages to work with, and I think they're just so pretty. So the other one that I found is this one, you guys. So this was my vintage find, the only vintage find, and I wouldn't even consider this vintage, but it's close enough. I saw this. It's a McCall's Carefree Guide to Pattern Adjustments, and it was only $1.25. When was this? Let's see the date. 1973, which I was already born in 1973, but I remember this style. I mean, my mom was sewing for years, so when I saw this, I grabbed it right away. I knew that I could definitely use some of these pages, maybe in a sewing journal or just kind of a semi-junk journal. But yeah, I love the patterns and the illustrations in this book, and I thought it was so nice. I haven't found any vintage pieces in a while, so this was a score and a find for me. Yeah, and I think this was only $1 as well. So then I want to show you guys a book that I did not find at a thrift store, but rather at Tuesday Morning. So if any of you guys have been to Tuesday Morning lately, you will know that they have also added some crafting books. So yes, these are not vintage and these are fairly new, but this one specific book called Handmade Glamping, I fell in love with because everything in this book is so colorful, and I just imagine cutting bits and pieces of this and using them in portions of as portions or pages of my journal. And I just love all of the color and photos and illustrations in this book. So as much as I don't want to take this apart, because this was more than $1, I forget how much this was. I think it was $4, maybe $3.99 or $4.99. But I still had to have it because I fell in love with all of the pictures in this book. I just love the colors and how bright it is. So I thought this would be great as an addition to adding pages to my junk journals. So that, and then one last book, you guys, and you're never going to believe this. Well, maybe you will. This I got from a Dollar Tree. I was at my local Dollar Tree and I found this book. It is not vintage, but the pages are so fun and just so colorful. And I love whenever you have sewing instructions or diagrams, and this is filled with sewing instructions and diagrams and cute, colorful pictures. I thought these would just be so much fun to add to a junk journal. Yeah, I can't wait to tear this up and start using this in my journals, you guys. So you guys, that was my junk journal book finds. And again, as you can see, I didn't really score on finding a lot of vintage books, but just the same, I do like the books that I found, and you know, I can still use them in creating my junk journal. So I hope this helps in you know, ideas for you guys with your junk journaling. I always really need ideas myself when I'm trying to determine what to stick in these journals that I'm creating. And I think it always helps to see what others create, or how others use their pages and what type of pages they're using. So I always look through YouTube. That's what helps me. So you guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. And if you stayed throughout this haul, I thank you again. And I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye.